Hello everyone. Today we're going to have a quick look at for loops. We're going to have a look at a couple of different aspects of for loops, and in this video I am using the Thonny IDE. Just to very quickly kick off, I'm just going to look at some simple printing with for loops. So in this example we're going to use for item in range. Okay, and I'm just going to put in 7 here, put my colon, and then print item. Okay, so when I run this, we should see it printing from 0 up to 6. Okay, and I've misspelled that. So in range, and we see from 0 up to 6. Now there are a couple of different things with for loops. When we use in range, this always has to be an integer. Okay, so the range always has to be an integer. It also, if it's only a single integer, it will only go from 0 up to, but not including the actual number. So for example here it went from 0 up to 6. If I change that 7 to 5, we should see from 0 up to 4. Okay, so that's a 1 argument. We can do a 2 argument, okay, which means this bit, or the first argument, is where it starts from, and the second argument is where it finishes. But again, it starts at 1, but it ends at 1 less than our number here, okay, our second argument. So it will print from 1 up to 9. If I change that to 15, it will print from 1 up to, but not including 15. So from 1 up to 14. Now we can add another argument, and this is our starting point, this is our finishing point, and this is our increment, or how the counting will work, or how many intervals we'll have. So if we want to do from the even numbers from 0 up to 100, we have to start at 0, go to 101, because remember we said it'll only go to 1 less than that, and our increment is 2. So when I run this, you'll see it starts at 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way up to 100. Now if I started that at 1, I would end up getting, it would be 1, 3, 5, it would end up with all the odd numbers. Okay, so when you're doing this, we have to start at 0 if we want the evens, and start at 1 if we want the odds. Now this also works in reverse. So if I want to go from 100 down to 0 in 2s, I just change it to a -2. So I'm starting at 100 and I'm going to 0 and I'm going down in -2s. Okay, and we can see here it goes the whole way down to 2. Okay, so when we're using in range, just remember it has to be an integer. Now an example of using in range would be if we were creating a list, and the list had to be obviously above 0, or the amount of items in a list. So if I just said my list equals empty, okay, so I've created an empty list. I want to say how many items, so items equals input, I'm taking in, and it's an int, so I'm taking in an input from the user, how many items in the list. Okay, And this time we're going to use an if statement. So if items are above 0 for I, or for anything, I is just a variable, we can call it anything, I just don't want to call it items again. So for I in range items, make sure we have our colon, and then this is the space for our code. Okay, so that's a use of in range. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just comment below.